electric atmosphere. 2 top 15 teams duking it out. I thought our players did a tremendous job preparing. I thought our staff, I credit our staff. They continue to show up every day and do a great job. And our guys execute everything to the best of their ability. And when you have that seamless transition of information going from coaches to players onto the court, you know, we got future head coaches on the staff. I'm just being honest with you, and I'm proud of them. You know, I credit our crowd. It was electric inside of Mizzou Arena, and our guys just continue to feed off of it, as you can see the first couple minutes of the game, as well as the end of the game. I thought Jacob Cruz did a tremendous job sparking us when Alabama cut it to 6 twice, and our defense was able to get through the test of time. And there was several loose balls we didn't get, but I just focused on the ones that we did get. And our guys executed and played unselfish, especially these two to my right and left.
All right, questions? Coach,
to beat the top 14 in the country, you know, this convincingly at home, like you mentioned, it got within 6 a couple times, but this dominantly at home. What do you think it says about this team to the country?
Whenever you can score 110 points in a game, no overtime, it says we're continuing to take the steps we need to take one at a time, and I'm proud of the direction we're going in as it relates to getting better. I still don't think our team has played its very best, and they would say the same, but we're going in a direction steady, slowly, patiently, and we're not leaving details behind, and you can see our team growing.
For Caleb and Mark, Coach says that the team hasn't played its best yet. How close was tonight, though?
I mean, we gave up 98 points, so, I mean, start there. We got to do a better job of, you know, rebounding, and then, you know, there's still small details that we maybe missed out on, you know, late in the shot clock. They got a couple threes off that we got to get better at, and then finishing on the offensive glass. They ended up with 11 offensive rebounds, but I think they only had maybe 2 or 3 at halftime. So we got to do a better job of late possession, closing possessions out on the defensive end.
Yeah, obviously I think we're improving. I think that's evident. I think just we had some different type of defensive possessions. You know, it was kind of some long ones. They capitalized on those in the first half. You know, we was getting them late in the shot clock. They hit some daggers there. So I think that's something we can improve on. But I think obviously it's evident that we're just steadily getting better and better each game.
Coach, right at the end there, you grabbed the mic to ask fans to stay off the court. Why was that?
We need that money to go to NIL. We don't need to be getting fines out there, but the safety. And I hope that becomes a normal thing. And when you are excited, which I credit our crowd for being, I just didn't want us to rush the court and get a fine. That's kind of how I see it. You know, ultimately, they showed up, and I thank our crowd. I wasn't trying to take any fun away from them, but I hope they're ready for next week as well. I kind of want them to keep that energy up and obviously continue to do the things that they do to impact the game.
Coach, one thing that your team does very well is getting the ball in quick off of opposition-made buckets. Was that a strategy going into this game to keep them on their heels defensively?
No, we were just going to continue to do what we did. I credit Alabama. They did some great things to cut the lead. They gave us their best punch. I just thought our guys were counter punchers and, you know, was sort of in a defensive mode and was able to punch back. And, again, there were several plays that allowed us to re-spark or reignite our momentum. And these guys just continue to make plays on both ends of the court, and they played the game unselfishly.
Coach, you mentioned on the radio show last night how important the transition value rate was going to be. How did you feel about your team's performance in transition tonight?
Well, from a defensive standpoint, that's what sets it up. We were forcing them into 11 first-half turnovers, and then obviously in the second half we created some opportunities. The other thing is we were able to get 21 points off turnovers and move the ball. Just because they scored, we knew this team was going to score. That's what they do. They put the ball in the basket. What I'm unhappy about is the and one fouls that we gave up in the paint as well as the opportunities to execute within our defensive changes. I thought transition, they exploited us late in the game, but we settled back in and was able to get in a shell and get numerical advantages, 5 versus 5 or 5 versus 4.
Caleb, you referenced rebounding a minute ago. The shooting prowess is obviously well known, but for you to have been as effective as you were on the glass down the stretch, how gratifying is that for you to be able to show off another facet of your game in a well-rounded nature?
Rebounding, I think it's a strength of mine, but at the end of the day, it's all about winning, and you got to want the ball more than the person that you're going against. So I think at the end of the day, like what I do, I think my best trait as a player is winning and making winning plays, and that's what we needed late in the game, and I was trying to get everyone just so they couldn't get any more second chance points.
Mark, you found a lot of success in the paint offensively once again, at least in terms of your ability to create baskets when you're close to the basket, whether that be free throws or layups. How do you feel like you've grown even just within the past few months of being here?
Yeah, I think obviously I got some easy ones early to get me going. I think I'm just adjusted to the way teams are playing me. Obviously, I had a little stretch there. Teams kind of adjusted. I'm a downhill driver. That's my best strength, and teams were taking that away. So now just picking and choosing. We ran a couple sets to give me easy ones, and once you get going, it opens it up, and you just have a feeling that you can, get anything you want, and I just had it going.
Really, for anybody, about a year ago, former Indiana coach Dan Dakich tweeted about Tamar Bates, saying he wasn't really good enough to play at Indiana, and kind of out of the blue, he doubled down on that this morning in a tweet. What does it mean to you to see Tamar go out and make those 2 plays at the end of the game to kind of close it out, and maybe in response
Let me answer this first. I don't approve of anyone directly attacking a great leader, a great young man, a dude who has never gotten in trouble, a guy that has done everything I have asked. I don't know who he's talking about. He may be confusing somebody for somebody else, but sometimes that happens. And what I'm proud of is you hadn't seen Tamar Bates respond on social media one time. And he keeps his focus because he's grown from his experience at Indiana. He never says, I wish I never went to Indiana. Tamar Bates says, thank you to Indiana. He has great friends. His daughter's godfather was his teammate. So from the Indiana experience, we're able to see this version of Tamar Bates, and I am absolutely proud of who he is as a man, what he stands for, his leadership qualities. I just want to sometimes make sure that our guys are told the things they're doing well. It's not about those types of tweets. So I credit that. You guys got anything on that?
Yeah, that's my brother, man. So I don't exactly know what you're talking about or whatever was tweeted out, but I think sometimes his passion and just how much he really wants it can rub some people the wrong way, but it's always from a place of love. Each and every one of us, some people have to adjust to it, some people are not used to it, but it comes from a place of love and just wanting to win. And he really cares just about each and every one of us, and it's not about him at all. So just his passion probably can rub the people the wrong way.
And, just going off what they said, I've known Tamar since, he was in high school. His brother's my age, so I've known the family for a really long time. I can't say enough good things, not just about Tamar, but the whole family in general. And then I remember when me and Tamar were both in the portal, and, I asked Coach Gates who else was he recruiting in the portal, and, he mentioned Tamar. And then after that phone call, I immediately called Tamar, and we were talking about it, and, we kind of were talking about coming here together. And so I've known him, and I followed his career at Indiana, followed his career in high school, and, there's not enough good things I can say about him and his family. So that's the Tamar I know. So one of the best leaders I've been around as well, too.
Coach, 26 minutes for Trent Pierce in this spot. Talk a bit, if you would, about how much of a multi-dimensional threat he was tonight and what you've seen in the last couple of weeks.
He's a very versatile defender. He has size for position. He spaces the court. He's able to rebound, get some deflections. I'm proud of his growth and what he's been able to do. He's probably down on himself about, going 1 for 5 from the free throw line. but for the most part, he follows the game plan and does a tremendous job. Those assists, he had 5 assists, and that's a very good job from a guy with that size, that skill, that ability. So I'm proud of his stat line, and I'm proud of the growth he'll continue to make.
For everyone, it seemed at the start of the game like Alabama was sacking off some shooters for a little bit there, and then they came out to the perimeter and were trying to close some shots down. When your offense is as in rhythm as it was tonight, how difficult is it to stop you guys?
I think we just have a lot of weapons. I think we can beat you inside. We can obviously beat you outside. And I think that's probably just a hard thing for teams to game plan. We knew some coverages that they might show us and some different looks that they might give us. And, we never panicked just because the coaches prepared us so well. So.
Yeah, I just think, I agree with Mark. I think we do a really good job of finishing around the rim, taking and making threes and then getting to the free throw line. And I thought we did all 3 of those things at a very high level. They like to take the 3 away, and we still were able to make 9 threes. And I just think our impact we had on inside, and, Mark especially, I think Mark, he dominated I think he had maybe 2 or 3 N1s in a row in the first half, and he did a really good job of, getting us in the paint, getting paint touches and finishing through contact. So just when everybody's playing like that, I just think it's tough matchup for anybody, but we just got to keep continuing, as Coach said, just to keep moving forward and keep getting better each day.
For Caleb and Mark, y'all finished with 12 steals tonight. Kind of what was the mentality on defense, and then how did that help spark some of those transition buckets for y'all?
I think that's what we do. I know we're one of the top teams in the country in steal rate, percentages, things like that. So, we're just doing what we do, honestly.
Yeah, they're one of the best offenses in the country. They may be leading the country in scoring. I don't know. It's a lot of points, but they shot, 53 from the field, 41 from 3. So we just got to find ways to steal possessions, and I think we did a really good job of stealing those possessions in the first half, and that's what got us to a lead in the first half.
All right, final question.
For Coach and Mark, Coach, you've mentioned how coachable Mark is and how he allows you to tell him whatever. What part of his game has improved the most as a result of that coachability?
Let me say this. Mark has gotten back to his old self, the versatile McDonald's All-American leader, unbelievable teammate. He's gotten back to his old self, and he's allowed me and our staff and his teammates to push him. Mark leans on other people first. He's very unselfish, but he knows when his teammates demand from him, and he knows when his coaches demand from him. And I'm going to continue to demand what I need to demand so that he can continue to be the spark and obviously the person that we need him to be. There's no better versatile player out there I would rather have than a Mark Mitchell. And he shows that in a very unselfish way, and he takes what he wants, in between the lines. And the one thing that people need to understand, he has a high basketball IQ, a very high basketball IQ. And when you have a high basketball IQ and you can pour into other people, you're never in a selfish spirit. You're able to continue to give the right passes on time, advancing the ball. It never sticks until I tell him, go get a basket, or his teammates demand on his specific play calls to go get one, and that's when you see him put his head down and make sure he's able to execute.
Yeah, I think just playing with my instincts. I think some coach got on me about for sometimes first half of the season, just not thinking, just playing basketball. Not thinking too much, just going out there and playing. I think that's what I've been doing the last couple of weeks. That's what I'm going to try to continue to do.
I want to thank the SEC Network for keeping this game on the SEC Network and not putting it on the other networks. I think it's good for our conference, as we're the #1 conference in the country. That was a great basketball game against 2 top 15 teams. Whenever you have 100 and then 98, I credit Alabama and obviously the atmosphere, but I do want to say that publicly about the SEC Network for keeping these unbelievable games on our network, because that's what it's about. MIZ.